It all began on that warm summer day in 1587. 3 ships from England crossed the Atlantic Ocean and landed on a small island off the coast of what is now North Carolina. The name of the island was Roanoke. On board were 115 brave souls who had come to build a new life, to bring the glory and wealth of England to this new continent. Led by their captain, John White, they were stepping into a future full of hope, but this hope was about to transform into one of history's most baffling mysteries. This is the story of a colony that vanished into thin air. The story of a people who left behind only a single word, Croatoan. As we chase the clues of this mystery, we'll journey not only back 400 years, but also into the deepest recesses of human history. Did a lost civilization, a supernatural event, or an unknown enemy claim their lives? As we try to piece together this story, every new detail that emerges opens the door to another question. Where did they disappear to? And what did that one word truly mean? The year was 1587. Captain John White, appointed governor of the new colony, was leading the expedition. Among the settlers were his own daughter and her pregnant husband. Everything seemed to be going well. They built houses, planted crops, and established relations with the local people, especially the friendly Croatoan tribe. Soon, the first English baby was born in the Americas, Virginia Dare. This was a great source of hope for the colony. However, like any new beginning, challenges were inevitable. Resources were limited, and survival was becoming difficult. In desperation, John White decided to return to England to ask for help. He boarded a ship, leaving behind his daughter, granddaughter, and the other 113 colonists. His promise was clear: I will return as soon as possible. This wasn't a temporary goodbye, but no one could have guessed that this separation would last forever. John White's return to England turned into a nightmare. The war between Spain and England had created a disaster at sea. The Spanish Armada had taken control of the Atlantic. No matter how hard he tried, White could not find a ship to return to Roanoke. For 2 years, he waited in despair. One question tormented him: were his daughter, granddaughter, and the others okay? Finally, in 1590, he managed to get on a merchant ship and set sail for Roanoke. When he arrived on the island, his heart was pounding. From a distance, everything seemed normal, but as they approached, an unsettling silence hung over the port. There was no smoke, no sound, no sign of life. When John White and his men stepped ashore and approached the colony, they froze at the sight before them. The houses, barracks, and the entire settlement had vanished. There were no people, no bodies, and no signs of a struggle. It was as if the inhabitants had simply evaporated. Except for one thing. Carved into a tree at the entrance to the colony was a single word, Croatoan, on a nearby fence post. The letters were also carved, Crow. Everything had disappeared. The houses, the belongings, the people. All that remained were 2 words. These words were a clue, perhaps a final cry. For hundreds of years, the mystery of Roanoke Island has haunted historians, archaeologists, and adventurers. So what did that one word mean? And what happened to the colonists? Here are some of the most compelling and plausible theories. Theory 1. Joining the Croatoan tribe. The Croatoan people were a friendly tribe, living just a few miles from Roanoke Island. The instructions John White had left behind stated that if they moved, they should carve the name of their destination onto a tree, and if they were forced to leave, they were to add a cross. There was no cross on the tree. This could mean the colonists willingly joined the Croatoan tribe. Perhaps they sought refuge there to survive. Theory 2. War and massacre. Not all relations with local tribes were friendly. Perhaps the colonists were attacked by the Croatoans they thought were friendly, or another hostile tribe. The idea that the colonists were massacred due to resource conflicts or misunderstandings is also a common theory. However, there were no bodies, no signs of a battle, and no evidence of a massacre. Could the bodies have been burned or buried? Or did the colonists simply disappear after a single attack? Theory 3. A Spanish espionage operation. Spain was uneasy with the English presence in North America at the time. Perhaps the Spanish Navy secretly sent an expedition to Roanoke and destroyed the entire colony. This theory suggests a historical precedent for espionage operations. However, no Spanish documents or evidence have ever been found to support this. Theory 4. A supernatural event. This is the most fantastic, yet most intriguing theory. Some believe Roanoke, like the Bermuda Triangle, was influenced by a supernatural force. A sudden disappearance, the single word left behind, all of it suggests something beyond scientific explanation. This theory is particularly popular in pop culture and among conspiracy theorists. In 2012, a group of historians from the University of Maryland found a new clue to solve the Roanoke mystery. Underneath a patched area on a map drawn by John White in 1585, a hidden marking was discovered. On the map, beneath the patch, an inscription reading Hidden City and a fortress symbol were found in an area about 50 miles from the island. This suggests the colony's original destination may not have been Roanoke, but rather a more secure inland location. These new findings reinforce the first theory that the colonists joined the Croatoan tribe or other friendly tribes living in the interior. However, conclusive proof is still missing. Archaeologists continue their excavation efforts in the region. Roanoke Island remains an unsolved puzzle after more than 400 years. It left behind only a name, a legend, and the question, what happened? Perhaps this mystery will never be fully solved, but maybe, one day, we will find that final piece and the curtain on one of history's greatest lost tales will be drawn back. So what do you think? Did the 115 people of Roanoke simply vanish? Were they victims of a massacre? Or did they begin a new life to survive? What do you think the word Croatoan meant? You can be part of this mystery by sharing your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next mystery.